getting everybody's story, just kind of a start in terms of what got them interested in psychedelics and just the mindset behind it. Jordan, if you don't mind.
Sure, family. It's an honor to be here. Robert, John, good to see you guys' faces. Yeah, I mean, shoot, where do we start? I grew up in a small town in Astoria, Oregon. I had a white mother. I had a Polynesian stepfather who came into my life when I was 2. Never met my real father, who is African American. Grew up in a predominantly all-white school, maybe 2 or 3 African Americans at the school. And, you know, I look back, and even at a young age, I had questions about the reality of the world that I was living in. You know, why are we going to church and, you know, we come home during the week and we don't walk by what we just preached, right? Like, you know, it's just, so all these questions, they just started going when I was younger, but as I got older, feeling like I knew what I was doing, you know, I was pretty sheltered in high school. Parents didn't let me go out much. I got to college, and that's a lot of my drinking problems started happening. Just met friends who I'm still friends with, but we were just doing the wrong shit. And, you know, both my mother is a recovering alcoholic. My father, who is an alcoholic, my real father, he's been in and out of prison his whole life for alcohol. So it was really kind of it was an excuse for me to always drink. You know, whether I played good, we drink. I played bad, we drink. That flowed with me all the way to, you know, I played 12 years in the NFL. And, you know, I met my wife probably my fourth year in the league. And then it was at this time where I got injured. First time I got put out for the season. Really not sure where my career was going. I ended up signing to Buffalo in 2017. And that's kind of where my career took off. But at the same time, I was very lost in my own identity of, you know, not knowing who I was actually off the field of football. And that started to spiral a lot. You know, I started getting the accolades. I didn't know how to handle it. You know, my wife was pregnant, and, you know, we just had a baby. So I used alcohol as a crutch and went down many holes of darkness with alcohol, to the point I was losing my wife, I'd lose my daughter. Finally decided to make a decision and, you know, go to AA. It was the year during COVID that I got sober. And started going to AA, started seeing really cool stories, hearing really cool stories in AA that just continued to propel my curiosity as to, like, okay, like, there's something deeper here. It was 2.5 years after I was sober from alcohol. I heard Aaron Rodgers on the podcast talking about his ayahuasca experience. And, you know, this was at the time, again, there's so much separation in the world. You know, they were trying to divide, you know, the white people, the black people, the politics, red, blue, you know, whatever narrative they were trying to divide us with. I never understood it. I wanted to understand what's going on in this world. And so, you know, the story that A-Rod was talking on his TV, you know, a lot of people wrote him off as crazy. A lot of people wrote him off as whatever. It really resonated with me, and it really wanted me to dive deeper into what he was talking about. So I went on my first plant medicine journey in early 2023 down in Costa Rica. And again, like Robert said, I mean, it changed my life. It changed my perspective on everything, gave me so much more clarity on who I am and how I need to move and why I'm here. Since then, I've gone to the Amazon. I've sat with the Awanawa. I'm actually going back in July, bringing my mother. My mother's been in the plant medicine world with me now. My brother, the same. So it's been really cool to kind of come home and, you know, share and shed this light. That's why I want to come to MAPS, because I think everybody should have at least an awareness around these modalities and awareness around, you know, that this can help. Again, not like Robert said, his modality was Ibogaine. Mine's ayahuasca, 5-MeO-DMT. That's it. But there is something out there for everybody, and I think that's important for us to continue to share our stories.
Jordan, I just want to go right back to you. You said that you had first heard about different remedies from Aaron Rodgers when he was talking about it. He's been very vocal, obviously, at the last event. And was there a moment where you reached out to him, or somebody, I guess, that may have any type of connection with him? Was that ever a thought during the process?
Yeah, Aaron and I actually sat together last year in Costa Rica. I don't know if you've seen the Enigma episodes that he put out on Netflix, but in episode 2 is the part where we're down in Costa Rica. We spent a week together out there, but that was where him, Vaughn, my mom, my brother, we all went down there. Because after I went out there, I basically wrote him on Instagram. I said, "Yo, brother, like, just thank you for sharing, you know, your experience with this medicine because it changed my life." And he actually reached back out to me, and since then we had been conversating. We planned to go to Costa Rica the following year after the season, and so we did, and it was a beautiful experience, and I'm super thankful. And that's why I think it's important for guys like us, you know, a guy like A-Rod can reach me or reach anybody else. It's important for who knows who we're going to reach, right, and continue to help. So that's why I thank all of you on this call for doing this work. It's super important to me.
It's very important. And I do want to go back to Jordan and John. This question is for both of you guys because you were teammates in Buffalo, I believe, for a couple of years. Were these conversations you guys were having just together, or was it just something where you kind of didn't know for a while?
I was gonna say, like, what was the last year we were teammates? It was 21.
Yeah, we were 19 to 21.
So 19 to 21. So you see me out. Yes. So John has seen me like get lit, and when I drink like a fish. And 2020 was the year I stopped drinking. I didn't do psychedelics until 2023. To be honest, before 2023, my idea of psychedelics, and again, I think that's where we're at in the West, is like I had such a negative connotation around psychedelics because it was my lack of awareness towards it at all, right? And you know, you see the stories of the 80s, you see people talking about their experiences, they'll have this bad trip, and it was really just my understanding. Like now I know, like a bad trip, like you're supposed to have that. Like like that's what you need to go through to get to where you gotta go, right? Like everybody has different experiences under the medicine. And one thing I've learned is when you treat the medicine with respect and reverence, you gain clarity. If you don't, you gain confusion. And so, like, you know, that's kind of like where I've been preaching in a sense. And these conversations weren't happening with John and I. I didn't even know, you know. I didn't even know it was a thing, to be honest. I was just trying to work on myself, trying to fucking be a better person in the world. And ironically, the year that I did stop drinking, I became an all-pro, which was crazy. The next year I was a pro bowler, and so, like, you know, it all ties together, right? It all ties to the same story, but I mean, no, these conversations were definitely not being had. And even when I went back and tried to have these conversations, sometimes I've even had to realize that it doesn't work like that. Like you want to come back from these profound experiences and be like, oh, like wake the fuck up, you know, like, but it doesn't work like that. You gotta walk in that light, you gotta be that light, and you know that's when people will start to resonate. We're all human, you know, they're gonna start to feel that energy, start to feel that presence. And, you know, that's how you change people's perspective on it.
Thank you for that. I do want to ask, and, you know, I know obviously Jordan and John, you guys are more recently in the league, but has there been any, I guess, pushback from people, whether it's like, I don't know if you've heard from the league offices or even coaching staffs that had their warnings about it, or do they really don't care anymore? Is that something that they focus too deeply on?
Well, it's not getting negative tests, like on drug tests, and so there's really nothing that they can do about it or say about it. I was pretty open my last couple years about my idea of at least raising the awareness around psychedelics, because like I can't unsee what I've seen and I can't unfeel what I've felt to the point where I can just pretend like nothing's going on in the world. And so like I feel like, again, this is a responsibility of mine to have these conversations and to use the platform that I've been able to cultivate through football, through where I thought that was my identity, the ego part about me, and use that platform to now help raise the collective awareness. But no, I mean, I don't think that, I think it's almost more of an uncomfortable situation when you have these conversations with people, because you kind of get them to realize like you're facing yourself, like this is an experience where it's not like a la-di-da, and then even afterwards it's not like I've arrived, right? Like it's these practices, these ceremonies, these, those just give you the tools, right? The real game is out in the world when you take what you've learned and integrate what you've learned into every situation, into every breath, and every step, of your life. And so I don't think that the NFL world has enough, or even wants to have enough information to where they would see it some type of way. I'm sure younger players, but towards the end of my career, I stopped giving a fuck. Because at the end of the day, this shit bigger than football. That's how I felt.